Hey guys, what's going on? Sincere here with whoissincere.com. Listen, it's been a while since I've actually brought you a story. Actually, it's been over a month. I've been going through a lot of things and been just trying to rebuild my life and get everything straight and situated. Want to let all of you know that have been reaching out to me. I am fine. I'm okay. Thank you for asking. Just trying to really, build my life down here, and it's hard starting over from scratch in a new state. So, trying to keep my head above the water and trying to keep, everything afloat and going well down here. So, all I would ask for is just your prayers at this time. I'm not looking for donations or anything like that. I'm a big boy, can take care of, what I have going on here. So, thank you for asking about me and seeing if I was okay. Those of you that don't know me just learned. Those of you that don't know me, I want you to know that I've dropped a lot of good information on YouTube, and I've met some really awesome people, and I've made some cool friends. So from time to time they check up on me and make sure I'm okay, and I appreciate you guys. So let's get into it. It's been over a month. I've been watching everything going on. The plane went down. The Russian plane. I'm sure we all know that story. I'm not going to go deep into that right now, but the whole point of this whole few minutes, I don't know how long this thing is going to take. I have about 20 tabs up here, but the whole point of this video is just to show you one thing. This is all one big setup. It's all one big setup. This is all one big facade. As I listen to a lot of the alternative media guys, I listen to everybody, man. I listen to a little bit of everybody. I'm not even going to start naming all the popular YouTube channels out there that I listen to for world news and stuff. And I don't ever take everybody, in alternative media at as if they have the full truth and they are the holy grail of knowledge. And I would ask that no one take me the same way either. That's just an unfair unfair pedestal to place any of us on. But what I have noticed is there's a lot of echoing. Well, Sincere, what do you mean by echoing? What I simply mean by echoing is I'm hearing a lot of people, go to the other guy's channel, maybe listen to it, then do their video. And that doesn't provide for good journalism. It doesn't provide for a good investigation. And it's been making me highly upset. So, what I want to do, actually, let me find a word. What I want to do is I want to show you guys what I found with the plane crash and with Paris and how they all link together, and with Syria. Now, I can take this, further, but I have 20 tabs to go through already. So I'm just going to go through those tabs, and maybe I'll make a part 2 of this. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just call it something else. I'm not sure. But the rabbit hole does go deeper than this video, so make sure you stay tuned after this video. But I'm going to give you what I have for now, because what I'm going to give you is just so different from everything that you're hearing. You're not going to get this on any other channel. So here we go. Plane crash. Russia's upset about that. Now, I get that they're upset about that. What a lot of, here we go. Russia's saying its jet was bombed. It allies with France. We all know what happened in Paris with the terrorists that, went all throughout the streets of Paris, bombing, shooting, holding hostages, all kinds of stuff. Very, very orchestrated attack. Let's be very clear about that. Paris was very orchestrated. Just like the Russian plane that just went out the sky was very orchestrated. I'm talking about, you're talking about places that have great security measures. Paris already has excellent security measures. They're tied in with our FBI, our CIA. They have anti-terrorism groups because, Paris is a hotbed of terrorism. I don't know, some of you watching this may know that. A lot of you probably don't. But Paris has a history of bombings, shootings, terrorism in general. So, this is nothing new. Both places, let's keep that in mind, Russia I'm sorry, Paris, highly orchestrated. The Russian plane that just went down, highly orchestrated. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't know that if you just take a quick look, you can find out where all of this leads back to. And I have no big climax moment because I'm just going to go straight through these tabs and just talk straight through them. But this is what's going down. If you look at all of, where this all points to, it points to something that I like to call the Chechen Network. Now, the Chechen Network just happens to be, technically what a trial was dubbed that actually happened in Paris. Here you go, where 27 North Africans were brought to trial in Paris on March 20th, 2006. And that was on suspicions of terrorism. Now, just, long story short, what generally happened is, let me see if I can find this actual picture here. What generally happened is they went before this guy. His name is Jean-Louis Bruguière, I guess I'm going to say his name is. Now, in going, going up against this judge here, what this judge found out about these North Africans were that, the terrorist activity that they were, committing in Africa, well, it all really traced back to another group. And that group was, of course, the Chechens. Okay? So that, they deemed that it was a very big case, and it was deemed, the Chechen Network. Let me see if I can find the article for that. All right, here. All right. So let's go over this. The Chechen threat. The term Chechen figures in almost every reference to the current case. Judge Bruguière and others speak of the Chechen Network, while their detractors refer to it as the Chechen Trace. Judge Bruguière claims that Chechnya serves as the main training base for Islamic militants, having replaced Afghanistan in this regard. Bruguière describes the Caucasian problem as a true international problem because the majority of the Chechen cause has been hijacked by Al-Qaeda. AP December 9, 2004. According to the judge, Chechnya serves as an aircraft carrier for Islamists to continue the fight against the West. CNN, May 13, 2003. At times, Bruguière ascribes to the Chechen rebels powers worthy of a James Bond villain. In 2004, he told the New Yorker magazine that Chechens were training Islamists how to hijack satellites, enabling them to shut down communications, power grids, and Western defense networks. New Yorker, August 2nd, 2004. So, do you understand what we're talking about here? These Islamic militants out of Chechnya, these guys are no stranger to anyone outside of the United States. Outside of the United States, they are simply deemed as really terrible, evil, wicked people. So this judge right here, Bruguière, is the one that actually, said these things about them. And you can see that, let's read this here. Judge Bruguière's emphasis on the Chechen aspect of the current trial has filtered down to the media. An Associated Press headline announced Chechen rebel trial opens in Paris, March 21st, 2006, even though not a single Chechen is among the accused. So what we're talking about right now is how, even with all the Africans, the North Africans that went on trial, in Paris for the terrorist activity, it's really not about them catching any of the Chechens with the Africans. No, it's about them seeing that if they funnel back where all of this is coming from, it's all coming out of Chechnya. Okay? So, this is something that the media just won't talk about. It's something that they won't refer to. It's something, they just will not go to. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I just found this very ironic. I just wanted to look into this guy a little bit more to see, what was up with the judge. So the judge makes these astounding claims about, the Chechen group, and I checked and see, who this judge is. He just happens to be a part of an organization called the Chertoff Group, and it's headed by Michael Chertoff. Well, who is Michael Chertoff, Sherrod? That's what you're saying. All right, Michael Chertoff, right there. Let's read. Michael Chertoff, born November 28, 1953, is an American attorney who was the second United States Secretary of Homeland Security under Presidents George W. Bush and for one day Barack Obama, and, excuse me, and co-author of the U.S. Patriot Act. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that awesome that the judge from Paris, who looked over the case for the Chechen connection, that judge now works for the Board of Advisors for Michael Chertoff, who is the co-author of the U.S. Patriot Act and the second United States Secretary of Homeland Security. So there's an intimate connection that we have with France. There's an intimate understanding that we have with Chechen rebels in France. It's not like this is new to the United States. Come on, this is one of the top guys. You think he hasn't maybe just had a couple words, maybe just a word or two with this guy that sits on the Board of Advisors about the possibility of there being Chechen militants based on how highly organized the attack was? Don't you think it's funny that we're not getting any surveillance footage of all of these horrific incidents? Not a single peep. So when we get the media, of what these guys look like, let me see if I can pull it up. We get this. Okay? We get this. A guy who looks like his beard has been cut off. Okay? Now, slightly with, a Middle Eastern kind of maybe complexion, a little bit of a brown skin complexion. So you would look at him and not really say he's a white guy, but he would, in some areas like Paris and, Europe, and this is completely, with what's going on right now with all of, the migration and things going on. So, people of the darker color now, there's a lot of tension going on, a lot of racial tension going on. But a guy like this, cleanly shaven and looks like he blends in with a regular hairdo like that, up-to-date hairdo kind of thing going on. A guy like that, he blends in and you don't even worry about him, right? Okay. Now, let me give a name to these Russian Islamic, militants. These guys do actually have a name. So Chechnya is under Ramzan Kadyrov, okay? He's the son of Ahmed Kadyrov, and there we go. Let's see, he was appointed president in 2007. He was appointed new president. Many allege he is the wealthiest and most powerful man in the republic, with control over a large private militia referred to as the Kadyrovtsi. The militia, which began as his father's security force, has been accused of killing and kidnappings by human rights organizations such as Human Rights Watch. Okay, in 2009, American organization Freedom House included Chechnya in the worst of the worst list of most repressive societies in the world, together with Burma, North Korea, Tibet, and others. That's how bad Chechnya is. Now, if we know how bad Chechnya is, and we know that Chechnya has been let's find the article. Chechnya has been training people in Syria. They've been training people in North Africa, in Iraq, Afghanistan. They've attacked planes and before. They've attacked Paris before. They're connected to that. If we know all these terrible things about these guys, why are we not talking about them? They are the boogeyman that we just simply refuse to talk about. And I don't know why. It blows my mind at this point. So I'd like to know why we're not talking about them. Even CNN had a little something in one of their articles, just referring to them. So they're getting ready to tell us about them, okay? Because they're tied into Russia, okay? Chechnya is a federal republic of Russia, from what I understand. So with that being said, that's Russia. Now, Russia, the homeland, Moscow, the homeland, everything attached to Moscow, is going to be more or less, their religion is focused on orthodoxy. So they have an orthodox religion. They're old school with their religion, and it's more, Christian based. Now, Chechnya is 90% Sunni Islam. 90%. As a matter of fact, when the Hebdo case happened, it was almost like a 1,000,000-man march that they had in the streets in Chechnya. Instead, some people say it was 300,000 to 500,000 people came out to march, and they didn't come out to march to say, "Hey, we stand up against what happened to to the journalists." No, they came out to march to say, "Hey, we stand up for you disrespecting our prophet like that. We don't care what happened to your journalists. You shouldn't have disrespected our prophet." So it wasn't to stand with the people of Paris. When you have 300 to 500,000 people in Chechnya to come out to stand against what happened in France before, it lets you know their staunch position against France. Okay? I mean, I can just go on and on about the evils of these guys. These guys, I mean, look, let's just go over this. Here we go. More, Chechen, Kadarovsky type Islamic terrorists, something we never talk about for some reason. Okay, this is a plane that went down. The subsequent investigation found that the bombs were triggered by two female Chechen suicide bombers, Grozny residents, you see their names, and Amanta, you see her name. The second girl's brother had disappeared 3 years earlier, and the family believed he was abducted by Russian forces. Chechen field commander took responsibility for the bombings in an open letter published on the Chechen separatist website on 17 September 2004. He claimed that the aircraft bombings cost him $4,000 in total. He has also denied the Islamboli Brigade's claims. The bombings followed the Moscow metro bombing, which left 41 dead in February 2004 and preceded other deadly attacks in Russia soon afterwards on 31 August 2004. A bomb killed 10 at a Moscow subway station, and then the Beslan hostage crisis began on September 1, 2004, which would leave over 335 people dead, many of them children. These guys are monsters. Monsters. Do you understand what I'm saying? Monsters. So, why are we not addressing the boogeyman in the room? Instead, we're in the Middle East looking for the brown skinned guy with the Arab headgear. Why are we looking for that guy? There's no reason for us to be looking for that guy. Let me show you the guy we should be looking for. Those guys. And they show up everywhere. They show up in Ukraine. They were at the Ukraine conflict. They're even referred to as Putin's Gestapo. They don't just work against Russia. They work for Putin too. They're noted as saying that. They've come on the record and said that themselves. These are the guys we should be looking for. Where if they cut their beards off, a lot of them would look like regular white guys from America. Isn't that interesting? Here we go. Let's take a look at them. Imagine these guys in your neighborhood, and all they know is murder. And all they know is they want their Islamic State. I'm not saying that. That's what these people have already said. Kadyrov's, Vladimir Putin's combat infantry, and Ramzan Kadyrov's henchmen. These guys have their allegiance with this guy, Kadyrov. And they're even called the Kadyrovites, okay? They have their allegiance with him. But his allegiance is, of course, with Vladimir Putin. So that's why they call it Vladimir Putin's combat infantry. So it's not like Vladimir Putin doesn't know who these guys are, what they're doing, and what their capabilities are. No, these are his specialized force. This is Vladimir Putin's Gestapo. Highly trained Muslim guys. Highly trained. Some of the most elite fighters in the world. In the world, people. Don't believe me, look this stuff up. But yet people don't like to touch on them. They don't like to say anything about them. And I don't get it. What are we scared of here? I mean, there's some scary looking guys, but the longer we hold off talking about it, I mean, I'm sure these are the type of guys that are actually, you know, if we were to have a fight in America, we're not going to expect to see any of those Middle Easterns coming out of the sandboxes to hop on some planes to come over here to fight us. No, we can expect to see them hopping off of some submarines, though. You can expect to see these guys. And maybe that's why you're not seeing anything about it on mainstream media. Because these are the guys. You understand? So I don't get what mainstream media is talking about with, you know, Syria and Assad and all that stuff. Yeah, I get it. Assad did some bad stuff. But let Russia handle that. We got to stop running and trying to handle everybody else's problems and situations. They cool with Russia? Let's put pressure on Russia for them to handle that situation with Assad. That should have been our position of power, to be able to leverage in that area to say that we're monitoring how Russia handles Assad. That's how we should have went into this situation. Nah, we wanted to go into it ass backwards though. And now this is where we're at. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to leave a lot of links so you guys can see who these dudes are. These are some, you know, these are some pretty highly trained people. Now, you'll see it says thousands of personally devoted armed men, estimated at around 5,000, including many former rebels from First and Second Chechen Wars. Okay. And, you know, they have many, you know, accused of serious human rights abuses. We already read that. Now, 5,000. That's not a lot. That's not a lot at all. That's like nobody. Okay? It's literally like nobody. But what about 5,000 men that are training people in Ukraine, that are training people in Syria, that are training people in Iraq? They're training people in Afghanistan, training people in Africa. What about 5,000 highly trained people who have great funding directly from Moscow, directly from Putin, from Russia, to go around training everybody, all of the other Islamic terrorists? Oh, and not only do they have money from Putin and money from Russia, and Russia's approval, obvious approval to keep doing this, but they also have the backing of the United States. Who do you think the rebels are that we're funding? If the Kadyrov's from Chechnya is responsible for training the people in Syria, and we're funding the rebels in Syria, then who do you think we're funding? Oh, we're funding these guys. That's why we can't say who we're funding. That's why. We don't want to say who we're supporting because we're supporting a Republic of Russia to do dirty work. We're supporting people who kill children. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Russia is no better. They know who these people are. They know who they are. You think Russia cares? No, this is all going towards an end game. This is all a game. This is all one big setup. So you mean to tell me this guy right here from France, from Paris, hasn't talked to anybody in the FBI and CIA through his Chertoff connection, through the Board of Advisors in the Chertoff group? He hasn't talked to this guy about anything dealing with Chechnya at all. About the fact that 3 bombs went off, 3 suicide bombers, okay? We still have yet to see any video of any of this, by the way. Multiple shootings all over the city, over 100 people dead, over 300 wounded, not a single camera phone, not a single video anywhere. These people don't know anything about who attacked and who orchestrated. That's the key word. Who orchestrated that attack? It wasn't just a bunch of North Africans, tied to any kind of Islamic group. It wasn't just a bunch of folks from Syria or coming out of Turkey or anything. It wasn't that. This is a much bigger plan, a much bigger scheme. The videos are already coming out on YouTube that our head security guy met France's head security guy, a day before the attacks. It's coming out that there was a live exercise that was happening around that time. It's coming out that Putin was talking to Obama just before the World Summit meeting 30 minutes before then in private. All of this world stage is a game. This is all business as usual. So what you just got done seeing is Putin's Gestapo perform an orchestrated hit in a city. United States already knows what's up with it. They're in on the deal. They know. But their job is to do what the United States does best. To run interference, to be the entertainment. We're the entertainment capital of the world for a reason. That's all we are, is a big joke, entertainment. So we run the entertainment realm of it. We have the PR and marketing side of these attacks now. Because we got it down pat, because we've done it so many times in our own borders. Do you understand how this is being played, people? Do you understand what you're seeing happening right now? The world is starting to mold, it's starting to take shape. Now they're doing false flags on a global scale. These people know about the Kataropsy. They know about them. The United States knows about them. Come on, if you think that they don't know about them, you're silly. That's ridiculous. Syria war. Rebels joined by Chechnya Islamic militants in jihad against Assad. That video was coincidentally taken down, so it doesn't work if I press it. You all know how that YouTube thing looks like that. This was written in 2013. Okay? Alright? This is real, people. This is real. This is not a joke. I'm going to leave links for all of these articles. Okay? This is real. This is real. If you think that this is a game, think again. It's not a game. These guys are going here to Syria to train these guys. Chechnya is okay. I won't say it's the most stable place in the world, but in Chechnya, it's a safe haven. There's no wars going on in Chechnya. So the Islamic militants that live in Chechnya are living quite well. They're just training, drinking, doing whatever they want to do, having a good time, getting high. I don't know what they do. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I know they're not doing things that are right as far as human rights. So I'm going to leave links for all this. Now let's take it one step further. I know you're saying, Sherrod, this is too much information. Those of you that know me as Sherrod, some of you are saying, Sincere, there's too much information. Sincere, where are you going with this? This is crazy. Okay, this is where I'm going with it. If we keep ignoring this threat, okay, these are the Islamic militants that have the radioactive material. Oh, that's where you were going with it. Okay? In 1992, when the Soviet Union began to fall to pieces, the Chechens began to prepare for their Gazavat, I guess that's what it is, holy war, by amassing the weapons that members of the Soviet military were selling from their arsenals. Everything went up for grabs: assault rifles, mortars, artillery shells, RPG-7s, even assault tanks and anti-ballistic missiles. The Chechens even obtained radioactive material for the production of dirty nukes, including kilos of chromium-50, cesium-137, and lithium. On November 23, 1995, to provide proof of these nuclear acquisitions, Shamil Basayev, a commander of the Chechen rebels, directed a Russian television crew to a radiological bomb that his troops had planted within a park outside of Moscow. The bomb had been made of 27 pounds of cesium-137, and if detonated would have killed hundreds in a matter of minutes and contaminated thousands more. Okay? That's how the Chechens are playing. That's how they're coming. But yet this is not hitting CNN, MSNBC, nothing. None of the alternative media. I don't hear any of you guys out there talking about this because everybody is playing the echo game. And some of you follow me. Okay, it's time to start talking real. It's time to stop making 5 and 10 minute long videos. If people can't take your 30 or 40 minute long videos, they don't want to hear it. It's time to make real videos. It's time to do real journalism. I can't even give you all the answers in this. I'd have to do a freaking documentary. I don't have time for it. But I'm trying to give you as much as I can to point you in the right direction, to let you know that the US is funding this. Russia is funding this. France knows what's going on because they've dealt with this before. Russia has had their planes knocked out of the sky by Chechens before. Chechens are in Ukraine. Chechens are in Syria. I'm showing you all of this right now. But yet not one news outlet is giving it real thought. Is it because the Chechens belong to Putin? And they are really, just as the article says, Vladimir Putin's combat infantry? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a game. That's all that this is, a game. Let's read this first sentence. In late December of last year, Chechnya's excitable leader Ramzan Kadyrov gave a fiery speech to thousands of his troops, pledging to be Vladimir Putin's combat infantry and to perform tasks the Russian military could not fulfill. Let's read that again. In late December of last year, Chechnya's excitable leader Ramzan Kadyrov gave a fiery speech to thousands of his troops pledging to be Vladimir Putin's combat infantry and perform tasks the Russian military could not fulfill. Do you understand what you are reading? They're telling you this is pure doublespeak. They're straight up telling you. These are the people that are fulfilling Vladimir Putin's wishes. So while half of America is fooled and they don't like Obama because he's black and they don't like his this and that, I don't like the dude because he's just not a good performer, period, as far as the role of president. But that's just my personal opinion. We're all entitled to our personal opinions. But people have all these other twisted personal opinions about Obama and all these other things that are going on in their head. So they're not looking at the big picture. They're not taking the second to step back and say, wait a second. This is not just about Obama. This is not just about his decisions and whether he's putting boots on the ground in Syria. See, the news wants you to get stuck in stupid stories. You put boots on the ground where boots are necessary at. I'm a military veteran. I'll tell you that we go where we're supposed to go when it's necessary. We're not worried about a promise to not go there. If something wrong happens and it's within the best interest of the United States to be there, then that's where we need to be. So, multiple news outlets covering hundreds of hours of whether Obama put boots on the ground is completely stupid, unnecessary, a filler, a waste of time, and brainwashing you to keep your mind off of what's really at play here. They don't want you to see these faces. They don't want you to think about these faces when you think about Islamic militant terrorism. They don't want you to know that Putin is behind a lot of this. They don't want you to know that the United States funds this as well. They don't want you to know that these people are the dark horse. They don't want you to know any of this. How do they not want you to know? Because they're not telling you. You can go read it on the internet if you know what to search. I told you that when I released Army After Next. I showed you the 1996 document that we, the program we worked on through the years I was in the military, detailing what's going to happen from 2016 to 2030. And I told you then, if you don't know the terminology to look for, to link it, you won't do it. But if you start learning the terminology, and if a lot of these reporters and journalists stop being lazy, you can figure out what to look for. So I'm going on a rant, but Katarovsky, Ukraine, Syria, Afghanistan, North Africa, Paris, they've been everywhere. The Chechen threat is real. Paris knows about this. Just ask the judge. The United States knows about this. Just ask the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, the co-author of the U.S. Patriot Act. Just ask him. They all know about Chechnya. CNN knows about Chechnya. Even Chechen jihadists who now have an important role within ISIS in Iraq and Syria might be suspected of taking part in some way given their perennial desire to hit Russian targets. Of course, they cause chaos. And of course, it's going to be meant to seem like Russia has to fight them. They have to start giving them some kind of a face to look bad. But this has been going on for years. Russia could have wiped Chechnya off the map if it wanted to, a long time ago. No, you use a Gestapo like that to help in enforcing policy on the very people that you're trying to govern. Putin has, under what the United States have, I believe it's like 150 million people over there, just under 200 million people, something like that. But Putin has a lot less people than us. But he still has to manage them. And just the way that we pull false flags over here, don't think that false flags aren't being pulled over there. These are the people that are pulling the false flags. There they are. Go to Google and type in Kataropsy. Type in Chechen Islamic militants. Type it in. Type in Russia, Kataropsy. Type in Moscow, Chechen. Type these terms in and look at the articles that you come up with. So we have people that know about this all over the world in all different kinds of forms of security in all governments. They know about the Chechens. No one is making an active role to stop them. Instead, the war is in Syria for Assad. We could have killed Assad from an airplane a long time ago. And if you're stupid enough to believe that we couldn't have killed Assad by now, you just keep drinking that mainstream media Kool-Aid. If we want Assad dead, Assad dies. Period. End of story. Doesn't matter where he's at on earth, we will find him and we will kill him if we really wanted to do that. That's not what we want to do, though. It's a part of the game. It takes a long time. And this is unconventional warfare. These are the terms that you'll hear as if our soldiers are not trained enough. It's just disrespectful. This is all an illusion, people. This is all a game. And in this game, real people are dying. That's the sick part. People at the top are pulling the strings and people are dying. Okay? The bankers have to get this war started. Our economy is collapsing. This dark horse is about to emerge. If you think Chechnya is not about to emerge in a big way, you have another thing coming. Let's read. During World War II, many Chechens collaborated with the Nazis. Soviet Premier Stalin executed thousands and shipped more than 500,000 by boxcar to North Kazakhstan, where 25% died. We can keep on reading about that. I'll leave that in here for you too. But these people are no saints. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. The more that you keep thinking that it's, the people in Syria and it's the people here and there, and you don't get to the root cause of who's training these people and who's agitating and irritating the situations and the funding behind it. And as long as you never get into those things, the United States is happy. Just keep looking at Syria, keep looking at Iraq, keep looking at Afghanistan and Iran. Keep looking at those areas in Israel. Don't look outside of those areas. And don't look into Israel too much. That's how our media treats it. That's how our government treats it. Don't talk about Chechnya at all. Whew. What is that about? You understand what we're under here, people? Okay? That's what we're under here. This is what we're looking at. Following this report, a number of U.S. officials and nuclear scientists, including General Eugene E. Habiger, I guess that is, former executive chief of U.S. Strategic Weapons, and Dr. Graham Allison, director of Harvard University's Belfer Center of Science and International Affairs, have been sounding the alarm that the radiological weapon from Chechnya will soon be detonated within Boston or another major U.S. city. It's not a matter of if, General Habiger said, it's a matter of when. They didn't say Syria. They didn't say Iraq. They didn't say whether Iran was getting weapons of mass destruction. They didn't say any of that. No. This article is referring to none other than, remember these guys? Terralin and Zokar? Tsarnaev? The Boston Marathon bombers? Chechen terrorist? Oh. Is it starting to sink in, guys? Is this starting to sink into you? Do you get what you're seeing? We're worried about the wrong areas again. Here we are again, worried about the wrong areas. When we've already been attacked by Chechens. Okay? So, here you go. We can go back to the radioactive material. What newspaper is this? The New York Times, 1995. Let's read it. Anxious Russian officials assured people today that there was nothing dangerous in the radioactive container removed on Thursday from a Moscow park where it apparently had been placed by Chechen separatists. The 30-pound box containing radioactive cesium was found buried under snow near the entrance to the park, one of Moscow's most popular recreation areas, after Chechenya's best-known rebel leader, Basiev, told Russian television reporters where to find it. Russia Independent Television Network had shown on Thursday an interview filmed 2 weeks earlier with Mr. Basiev, who led the raid on southern Russian city of earlier this year. Mr. Basiev said he wanted to make it clear that Chechen guerrillas could do great damage to Russia if the war over Chechen secession did not end. The Federal Security Service is continuing to investigate Mr. Basiev's assertions that 4 parcels had been brought into Russia and that at least 2 were hidden in Moscow where they could be detonated at any time. This is what the Chechens are playing like. Now, we can't take everything here as, real, or, we have to take it at face value. We can't take it, just look deep into it and take it all as 100% truth. We can't do that, but we can get a good idea of what's going on. Basically, the Chechens had, in a park outside of Moscow, some radioactive material, just as the other article said. Okay, I went and did a search on that. 1995. 1995. I couldn't find anything else besides this article, to be honest with you. So I would have never known about this at all if I didn't read this one article right here that brought it up. I was absolutely astounded to find this out. So I'm sure you guys are pretty shocked too that we're not learning about the most important Islamic militants that actually have radioactive material. Isn't that a shocker? Isn't that crazy? Okay? We're not a stranger to this. The New York Times wrote on it in 1995. If the newspapers know, the CIA knows, Department of Homeland Security knows, Paris knows, Russia knows. This is not a game, people. But they're playing games. Suicide Chechen bombers, females. You understand why you're not going to hear about this? Do you understand why? Because their wives are probably the same color as them. And when you look at them, they probably remind you of a traditional Russian girl or an American girl. And to think that that traditional Russian or American girl could have such deep Islamic roots, get on a plane and blow it up and kill 200 or 300 people. That's a shocker to the American people. It's more believable that Middle Eastern men of brown color and of lower economic standings and conditions, that those men are the ones that are the true enemy, when it's scarier to believe that those men in front of you are the true enemy. And not just those men, they're women too. How scary is that? To think if these guys cut their beards off, they look just like most Americans. To think that if their women were standing right next to them, they'd look like most Americans. Look at this guy. Cut his beard off, put a woman next to him. Regular American guy. Him too. Regular American guy. Put a woman next to him, regular people. But yet you got 2 female suicide bombers and 2 people that want to bring in 2 people that want to literally bring in the Islamic State. Okay? That's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. And I'm sure, let me see if I can find this in an article for you guys before I close this out real quick. I want to show you one more thing just so you can know that, so you can understand where I'm going with this. Actually, it actually tells you in one of the articles, it may have been the Wall Street article actually, that they're actually looking to bring in the Islamic State, that they've, there's no time that's been a time like the present to bring in the Islamic State. So that's actually rhetoric that's coming directly out of Chechnya itself. Okay? And I wish I could actually find it for you right now, but I don't have it marked down. But actually, here we go. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Found it. Dressed almost entirely in black, the militant from Russia's Chechnya region declares an Islamic State is within reach. Fellow fighter from the Brigade of Foreign Militants he leads translate his Russian words into Arabic. His recently distributed video highlights the role militants from the volatile North Caucasus region now play in Syria's civil war, fighting a government that has been backed by Russia and staunchly protected by President Vladimir Putin. It also puts in focus the security risks they may pose for Russia if they return to the Russian region, which borders the area where Moscow plans to host the Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics. So this is obviously before then. We're past that now. Jihad needs very many things. Firstly, it needs money. Much is dependent on money today for jihad, said Al-Chechen, his nom de guerre, I don't know, the leader of what rebels and websites call the Brigade of Migrants, an opposition group of foreign fighters. We have missed many chances, but truly today there is a chance to establish an Islamic State on earth, he said. Syrian rebels confirmed separately that he is in Syria and the leader of the brigade. His real name was not clear. Okay? Do you understand what we're talking about here? These people from Chechnya want to bring in an Islamic State. They're telling you that. The Islamic State is meant to be, look, it's meant to be brought in by the people from Chechnya because they're doing a lot of the training. They are helping a lot of the troops advance. Come on, man, if you can't see that out of all this information I just poured in. I promised myself I keep it under the hour. I'm looking at it now. We're getting there. So I've gone over all these tabs. It's actually more than 20 tabs. I've gone over all these tabs that I can to break it down for you as much as I can. So let's recap real quick, okay? Russia knows what's going on with Chechnya. They fund Chechnya. Okay? Chechnya, as you can just see right there, has no problem saying, and this is back in 2013, that they want to bring in their Islamic State. Okay? They're training. We knew it back then. In Syria. Okay? They've joined in Syria. We know they joined in Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Africa. We know that their women, their rebel women, have bombed airplanes, aircraft. We know that they've been traced to Paris. We know that they play a dual role, much like elements within our own government. They're the friend and the enemy of Moscow. Could be eliminated in one day, but you can't eliminate someone that you're using to further your agenda. Vladimir Putin's combat infantry, Kadyrovsky. The Americans know about this. Why do they know about this? Because we have this guy, Michael Chertoff, who owns this group, the Chertoff Group, where this judge from France, who presided over the Chechen connection or the Chechen trace or whatever you want to call it, who presided over that case, that guy works on Michael Chertoff's Board of Advisors. Do you people understand what we're talking about here? This is all orchestrated. Go to my website, whoissincere.com. Thank you guys for being patient with me while I've taken off some time to try to get my life together. And even though I just delivered you all this doom and gloom information with these rather scary looking guys right here, I was in the military, and I'm telling you, we got some tough looking guys in the military, but these guys right here, you got to read up on them. They're something else. They really are like Bond villain characters, so maybe that's why we're not addressing them. But I appreciate you guys letting me take this little bit of time off, and I'll be doing a lot more stories. I won't be missing as much time anymore. I'm actually in the market to go ahead and get a microphone soon and get I had a studio in New Jersey, so I'm going to be getting some studio equipment here soon, and all that stuff, and upgrading. But right now I'm actually working on something that's like a lot more important. I'm helping a lot of people right now, so that's been taking up a lot of my time too. So there's been a lot of folks that have been wondering what I've been doing. Some of them I've shown. I'd like to show you as well too. All I have to say is I've partnered with some really great people that are making some really killer money. And if you want to make some money, go to my website. You can go to whoissincere.com and click the banner at the top for secretnewworld.com, or you can go directly to secretnewworld.com. You get a little video on there of me talking a little bit. Fill out the contact information form, and I'll give you a call. Okay? And if I don't give you a call, feel free to give me a call. If you're interested in the information you see, give me a call. That's what actually supports what you see going on here. The way that I help you when you go to secretnewworld.com and you go through the information there, that's the way that I give back. I'm not asking for your donations, but I ask for your support on secretnewworld.com. That's all I ask for. That helps me to keep giving so much back to this beautiful community of alternative media that I love so much. Alternative media heads, come on guys, let's do our job. Let's do our job. We have to do our job better. I respect a lot of what a lot of you guys are doing, but I expect more. A lot of you I can't watch as much anymore because, even though I don't do this often, I feel like I'm surpassing you as far as techniques of finding information. And I don't want to feel like that. We all deserve better. So I'm asking all of my alternative media guys out there, let's step it up. I'm asking all my alternative media guys, look, let's stop letting YouTube dictate what you say and what you can and can't do. Sign up on secretnewworld.com. Start to generate a passive residual income. And then you will understand why you don't need to worry about YouTube's, their little advertising policy. For whatever videos they don't approve of me, I don't care. It doesn't make me 2 cents, or well, it makes me 2 cents, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm retiring within 6 months. So nothing, YouTube can't do that for me. Not at all. I'm not going to sell my soul to YouTube at all for any cost. Anybody that feels the same way, join me. secretnewworld.com. Sign up. Come join me, especially business owners. Business owners with families, I'd love to have you join me. This is free marketing for you. This is so much good stuff that I have for you guys. I want you to keep supporting these videos. I'm going to keep researching the hardest that I can research to find the deepest information that I can find. And like I promised you in the beginning, the rabbit hole does not stop here. This is just what I can give you today, guys. There's so much more. There's always so much more. For you, those of you guys who haven't checked it out, go to my channel on YouTube, subscribe. Go ahead and check out The Army After Next. It's a 3-part series. It is long. It should have been a 4-part series because it's 4 hours long, but it's a 3-part series that's 4 hours long. Check that out. You need to get that information. You need to understand what these guys have planned for 2016 to 2030. This is not a joke. This is not a game. Okay? These guys right here are not a joke. They are not a game. These guys kill children. They kill women. Their women kill everybody else. And they kill everything moving. And they look like average Americans with their beards cut off. And their women look like our women. Without all the stuff on. Without them having their stuff. We're under threat right now. Let's do better, alternative media. Let's get this out there. Let's talk about this. Share this to all your friends. Yes, it's an hour long. No, I don't care that it's an hour long because I have a lot to say and a lot to give. So if you can't sit through an hour, that's too bad for you. Go watch one of the other channels with the 5-minute long videos that tells you absolutely nothing but echoing what they just heard off of another channel. So, yes, it's an hour long. The next one will probably be an hour long too. The one after that will probably be an hour too. If you don't like these videos, look at my shorter 10 to 15 minute long videos. But until then, I have to do videos like this because there's no one else doing this job. Alright? A lot of important information. I'll leave links below. Thanks a lot. Follow me on Twitter too, guys. Sincere Speaks. I'll talk to you soon. Make sure you visit that website, secretnewworld.com. Help me out on that website. I want to help you out. So that's what's going to keep this going. I'll talk to you later. Take care.